Hey guys, I'm Harrison from Burwood Guitars, and you are watching the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. That is me, and that is you. 7.6 thousand members and counting for our Facebook group. Amazing. I'm not doing a podcast with Darren today. Just been just family things, family commitments and stuff like that. We'll be back doing the podcast next week. Hopefully I'll still be able to chat with the amazing and wonderful Cindy, who I've been trying to chat to for a couple of weeks now. It's just paths haven't crossed, but that's okay. We'll get that happening, which will be very cool. I'm just doing a guitar at the moment. Currently, see, I'm clamping up a guitar, putting a neck on, and this is going to be one of the Duke joint rockers. This is the stock one. We sold one of our stock guitars a couple of days ago, and so I'm building another one now, which is always fun. It's more fun in a way building kind of from the heart a little bit more. So this has got a lovely old piece of super old hard pine for the neck, for the fretboard, and it's really nice. It's a lovely piece of timber. It came off an old wardrobe or something like that, and it's just super, absolutely super old piece of wood. So I managed to get probably about a dozen fretboards off it. So when I run out, I suppose, which is cool. But I'm really enjoying using a lot of this reclaimed timber, which is cool. So what's happening at the moment? I'm not doing a big build thing this week, obviously, because as I said, there's been some family stuff that's come up, and it's been a bit heavy duty here at the Harrison homestead. But that's okay. That's life, and that kind of things happen, unfortunately. But I wanted to show you something specifically today that I was having a chat with Darren today. Darren was having some problems. You don't mind if I talk to you while I'm doing this? I hope not. Darren was having some problems with some soldering. I run out of paper towels, so I'm just going to use an old t-shirt that I've got flapping around here somewhere. Darren was having some problems with some soldering, and he's in between soldering irons at the moment, and he's currently using just an old one that I gave him, and having no end of problems with it. Mainly because it's a really cheap one. It's not a great one. I kind of knew when I lent it to him it was probably more than anything doing him a disservice. So if you're watching this, Darren, sorry about that. So yeah, he's been having some problems with it. Couple of things I wanted to talk to you about with soldering today, and then I want to show you a really cool trick. Princey, what have you done? He's put his ball under the workbench. There it is. It's a lovely game he plays with Dad. Hide the ball. I can't get it. Can you get it for me, Dad? Lovely way of getting some attention from Dad, which is fine. So that's it. That's the fretboard. Onto the neck. That's the assembly for this guitar. I haven't drilled the holes in there yet. So this will go over here. And I'm going to put some paper down while I'm talking to you, because I'm going to put a clear coat. Just going to put a clear coat on the box. That's all. While I'm chatting with you. so, gosh, pretty. Hit the wall. What's happened? Cabothane. It's a water-based clear coat, which I prefer. I don't like using polyesters and polyurethanes if I can help it. This is probably no sanding required. Highly durable, fast recoat, low odor, non-yellowing. Cabothane. This ad is not brought to you by Cabothane, and it is water-based. So, brushes wash out in water. So anyway, as I was saying, a couple of points with soldering. One, do yourself a favour and definitely get yourself a decent soldering iron. This is the one I use. Duratec. It's about $100 Australian. It comes with a section here where you can actually pick and choose your heat. It's got a nice solid piece. It is plastic, but you can feel it's got a heavy transformer in there. It comes with a base, and I've had these. This is probably 5 years old. I've actually got 2 of them. I'm going to lend one to Darren while he's in between, and it's really important to use a good one. Another one, get it nice and hot. These potentiometers, generally, that's the potentiometer there, all right? They generally have a very oily residue from the manufacturing process, just on the casing. So what I do is I literally sand the top. Just give it a bit of a sand, take a bit of that off. I've never used any solvents or anything like that. I literally just give it a sand back. I use alpha pots. I really prefer using alpha pots. I'm a big fan of them. You can also order them from CB Giddy. The pots I get from CB Giddy are good as well. I've just used alpha pots, especially with my pedals. I usually use the alpha pots, and the tops I just use the short shaft, but you can. CB Giddy can get the short shafts and you can get the long shafts, which is really, really helpful. They're both great. I just like alpha, it's what I've used. But you do need, especially with the alpha ones, to take off that residue. Here's the rule. Nice hot iron, 3 seconds. Okay, 3 seconds heat. Put the solder. You can't use 2 hands. You're gonna have to lock it somewhere, put this somewhere. These little, I use this. So it's got little sand, so if I'm doing it, and if I know I'm flat out, you can hold it there, put your soldering iron where you want to solder, pop it on there for 3 seconds, put the solder on for 3 seconds, and then keep it hot and leave it alone for 3 seconds. Okay, so 3-3-3, rule of 3. 3 seconds heat it up, 3 seconds apply while the iron's on it. Okay, so apply, and then also if you're then attaching your cable to it, pre-solder first. Solder a blob on, make sure the tip of your wire is soldered, and then put them both together and the solder will flow like that. Once it's flowed, you can just leave it alone. Then leave it, don't blow on it because you'll end up with cold, dry solder joints. And dry solder joints basically just don't work. So that's basically it, and just leave it alone. That's a little hint for soldering. So that's that. Now, next thing I'm doing. Okay, I've got my Cabothane clear, got my clear coat. Where am I? Where's the box? Ah, here it is, right in front of me. All right, that's the box. So I use a stain, 2 stains. I use a floor cleaner with some brown. So this has got 2 colors. It's got black first, and then I do a brown coat over that using a water-based floor stainer. It's a spirit-based black that I'm using, and then the water-based, everything water-based just goes over the top. There's never an issue. These are handmade boxes, so I build these myself. Then basically, it's just once it's dried, and I love these because they come up all kind of groovy. They're not like perfect, which is what I want. I don't want them perfect. I want them to be a little bit messed up a bit. And then I just hit them with a lovely clear coat. As I said, it's a water-based seal. No marine mammals were harmed in the making of this. And let it dry. If it needs 2 coats, I give it 2 coats. Usually 1 coat suffices. Don't really need it any more than that. I'm not about precious cigar box guitars, you know, or CBGs. All I'm interested in, I want a nice clear coat. I want it to be slightly rough around the edges because that's where they should be. And they got to play nice. And that's what I make sure they do. I'll do the top. And then I'll just leave it for a day. If there's any bits of dust on it or anything like that, or not worried. That's the whole point. Go back and forwards, just make sure it's all nicely coated. I do get rid of any blobs that go over the side. There we go. That's that. When I do the base, the top, this is the lid. I do the sides. Just make sure the sides get done. It keeps them waterproof, keeps the nasties out. It's a 3mm ply that I use on these, marine grade. I buy the nice stuff. And these do get on the inside, they get a bracing on the inside. I use more ply on the inside of them for a bracing, and that just stops the plywood bending and giving him a kind of a warbling effect. And the nice thing with doing these, I'm going to do some in colour as well. Once I've got a couple up on the site, I'm actually going to do some stuff like maybe some greens, or I can do like purples and things like that. And I've done a purple before. It looked really nice in this same kind of technique. And it was really groovy, so that's cool. All right, so that's that. Where will I put that? I'll put you there. And I'll put the box, because I don't particularly want it to stick to the paper. Then it's difficult to get off. Yeah, we'll get some of those blobs off. That's it. How lovely. Keep it simple. Chuck it there. Like I said, get a couple of marks on it. It's not gonna kill it. I'm not worried about that. Pop the cap back on nice and tight. That's it. All right. This is what I want to show you. This is a diddley bow made by a friend of mine, who no longer builds diddley bows and cigar box guitars. He's off doing other things in the country. He's actually now making watches. You know who you're talking about if you're watching, who you are if you're watching this. I love diddley bows. I love diddley bows. If I could afford to just build diddley bows and sell one of these every year, I would, but I can't, so I have to build 3 strings. Okay, but I want to show you something. Now, obviously up here, you got a machine head there, bit of dowel, real simple design, just goes through here, goes through the box, through there. Just normal, just drilled a hole, put it through, screwed it at the back. It did get a nasty crack on it, so I've glued it, and the whole thing's kind of glued shut now. But beforehand, 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 screws there holding it in. I had to glue it as it did crack. It's just a lovely old box, an old cedar box. So Henry Winterman's Coronas, very thin. It's lovely. But here's the trick. Look at this. How's this for a bridge? How clever is this? I'd never seen this before. I'm going to do a 3-string just like this. How amazing is that? It's a picture hook. There's the nail, and the nail goes into the timber, into the neck. There's a screw, so there's 4 screws holding this down. So the screw there, and the nail, so that'll stop it from spinning. And look at the bridge. Look how it sits just in front of where the winding for the string stops. And he's put just a little, like just a divot, just in the tip. I don't know if you can see that. Look how clever that is. Look how clever that is. Just reusing something. And the ball, here's a nail here with the top chopped off. And all that happens is the ball goes over the top of the nail. And it pulls it up. You can see it's got a little bit of pull on the back there. Just a tiny bit, but not a lot. And the nail keeps it in place. And the screw is stopping this curl over bit from pushing forwards. It's ingenious. And I think this is very, very old. I think this is probably a 10-year-old build. It's not going anywhere. It's not a big string. I think this is probably maybe a second string, maybe a third. Is it a G? I don't know if it's G. But that's ingenious. I wanted to share that with you today. That's the big thing I wanted to share with you today. I had a couple of other things to do. But isn't that the most amazing little bridge on this guitar? And there's no reason you couldn't on a flat neck. There's no reason that you couldn't use 3 of these in a row, slightly spaced, to make the strings wide, to make it easy to play, because they'd be very narrow otherwise. You can see how thin that is. They'd be too close together. They'd be as close as like a normal electric guitar, and we don't want that on a scales guitar. I think generally we want it to be slightly wider string spacing. But you can just space them out. I think that's spectacular. And just from an old, and this is disused. This was an old second-hand one, obviously. So whether or not you go out and, so there you go. If any of you have done this before, can you please leave a message in the comments and just let me know. But how clever is that? All right. Well, that's what's kind of happening at Burble Guitars at the moment. We've got a couple of guitars waiting for some strings. If you're watching this and you've got an order, there's a Black Thunder and a Juke Joint Rocker for 2 clients at the moment. I'm just literally waiting on strings to arrive, and then that'll be set up. Wait for a couple of days to make sure it's behaving itself, and then it'll be off to you. And as I said, there's a couple of guitars now on the bench for stock, which is really cool. And I might go and buy myself a pack of these hooks and play around with it and see what I can kind of come up with. Anyway, Adam from Burble Guitars, have a great weekend. Go and build yourself something fun, and I will see you. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye.